Am I about to film myself having a bath? Well, this video requires some self-confidence. Welcome to me shaving my legs for the first time in 3 years. Is this about to be potentially my weirdest video yet? Maybe. Oh my god, okay. I have been wanting to talk about this topic for a while. So yeah, I haven't shaved my legs in 3 years. I want to take you back to my PE lessons at school. So I went to an all-girls school and the PE school uniform was skirts and a t-shirt. And I'm not even kidding, the day that we had PE felt like a mental deadline of the week. It was like, you have to shave your legs the day before. You'd hear things like, oh, my legs are so prickly, and like, don't look at me guys, I'm so sorry, like I haven't shaved my legs. And we would sit in the school hall while the teacher was doing the register and literally sit and compare legs. Like girls, especially the popular girls, would go around and like touch your legs to see how smooth they were. So you learned to shamefully hide any prickle, any little bit of hair. So in PE, not only did I hate the stretch marks on my thighs, but I really hated my legs compared to other people's. I used to dread PE. When I got to year 12, I realized just how insecure I was about shaving. Like I just really hated being controlled by the fact that like if I didn't shave, I just did not feel pretty. And so one day I did some research into like the origins of shaving, like why women even shave. Like why is it that hair grows on my leg, yet if I keep it there, it's like considered really dirty? Like why is that? And I don't know if you guys know the origin, but it's pretty fascinating. I'm gonna tell you more about it, but we are literally taught to hate body hair in order for a company to make profit. And it's men. Men literally came up with this whole societal construct. So I basically realized that me being insecure about my body and the fact that other people's insecurity about their bodies was making me feel insecure was literally a social construct. So I challenged myself when I was like 16, 17 to let the hair grow back and to like try my best to embrace it. I went to PE lessons and I didn't shave my legs, and people looked and people compared, but like there was some kind of weird strength in being able to say like, oh yeah, like I'm just not shaving my legs, because then people couldn't really compare anymore because it was like my choice. And looking back, I think this one pretty difficult decision at the time to make has honestly propelled my self-confidence so much, and is the reason why I feel confident now. Did I have them unshaven for prom? Yes. All through my gap year? Even when I wore a swimsuit, or wore a pretty dress, or wore a pretty skirt, or went on dates, or did romantic love life things. Did people stare and ask questions? Did I do it anyway? But I want to make this video to talk about why shaving even began. I'm not trying to shame you if you shave, I'm not trying to shame you if you don't shave. I really don't mind what you do with your body. I know, I just think it's interesting, especially if it is a habit in your life, to think about why it even started. And at the same time, I'm gonna shave my legs. I'm honestly kind of sad. When you don't shave your legs for ages, like, it gets so much finer. Like, the hair on my legs, it's like, I don't know, it's just chill. It got a lot fairer over time. I also know I have a lot lighter hair than some people do, so it's obviously easier for me to, I guess, own it and for it to be less visible. But yeah, let's talk about shaving. Okay, while I talk, I'm gonna exfoliate my legs. So in history, women have been shaving their legs at like many different times in history. It was like kind of on and off, like you could, sometimes it was associated with beauty, but nothing was really like widespread until the 1920s. The company Gillette, the shaving brand, was like a pretty big player in this. Honestly, feel free to fact check this, but to my memory, basically the CEO was like struggling to sell razors. So he sat down with his team and he's like, yo, how can we sell more razors? Oh my god, I've got it. Let's do a campaign to make women believe that having hair on their body is actually really gross. Let's not use the word shaving, but instead let's use the word smoothing. Smoothing is more feminine. Let's advertise it as being used by women of refinement for the next generation to remove their objectionable hair. Gillette labelled body hair as an embarrassing personal problem, and smooth underarms were a sign of good dressing and good grooming. Another ad, again, trying to convince women of this whole idea to like create this social construct need around the product, literally claimed that you would be embarrassed or unloved if you had ugly, noticeable and unwanted hair, which is so genius of these razor companies, okay? Because they are not just trying to convince you of a product, they are trying to convince you of an insecurity. And there is nothing people hate more than feeling insecure, and they will buy anything to feel even slightly more confident or secure, especially when it's to do with social stuff and how other people view you. So more women started shaving those parts, and if you didn't, a lot of men and partners would like question you on it. Am I not dating a woman of refinement? Before this, the hair was literally just there. It's just hair, it's just chilling. So obviously these women, they go on, they have daughters, they pass on the habit. They want their daughters to marry well and be perceived as beautiful. And by 1964, surveys indicated that 98% of all American women aged 15 to 44 were routinely shaving their legs. The shaving companies did it. They boosted their sales hugely. I can literally imagine a bunch of men in a room shaking hands and being like, congrats bros, we did it. We convinced women that the natural hair on their legs is disgusting. To put it in a new context, it is like a bunch of men sitting in a room today and maybe they sell a product which makes bald heads shiny. I don't know if that exists. So they're like, I know what we'll do. We'll convince all women that the hair on their heads is disgusting and will make you unloved. Therefore, you have to get rid of it and use our bald head shining product in order to be beautiful. And then 100 years later, every single woman is rejecting the hair on their head because of this thing that happened 100 years ago. Do you get why it's a little crazy? Okay, so I'm going to dig a little bit into feminism and feminism's opinions on body hair. The first round of feminists came in like the 60s or 70s. They were kind of extreme, so they purposely stopped shaving everything to kind of reject the commercialization of body hair. They thought the social construct wasn't just for money. There were also opinions that the shaving norm was an embodiment of our culture's preoccupation with keeping women in a kind of state of innocence and denying their visceral selves. Which is basically just thinking like, it's another way for men to like control how women looks in order to be perceived as innocent and beautiful, and the fact that like the natural you isn't naturally beautiful. Another feminist had a really interesting opinion that women concerning themselves so much with shaving and being more insecure was actually to intentionally distract them and be counterproductive so that women were less likely to fight back against other social issues like the pay gap. And it was clever because the media could use the feminists as like the gross, hairy monsters, even though feminists actually had really interesting perspectives on injustices that were happening. And so, my friends, before I go and shave the hair from my legs, which I still don't know how I feel about this, I'm gonna take you here to the present day, to feminism now. I think there are still some kind of weird debates. It's like, can you be a feminist if you shave? If you give in to that societal norm, can you be a feminist? Just like how some of the feminists in like the 60s and 70s rejected housewives because they were giving in to the patriarchy. Nowadays, I think there's a tone that I prefer a lot, and that one is respecting people's choices. If you want to shave, go ahead. If you want to feel smooth, go ahead. If you want to be a feminist, believe in equal rights for men and women, and shave your legs, and wear makeup, and wear dresses, and be a housewife, so, like, they're not mutually exclusive. So yes, I don't think we should judge anyone's choices. I think we should judge judgment itself. But, now that I picked this up, I do invite you to consider why you shave. Like, actually just question it for a second. If you ever find yourself insecure about the hair on your body, why is that? Personally, like, I really like shaving my armpits. I prefer it. But also, would I feel insecure if I had a lot of underarm hair? Probably, and I think I'd have to take time to get over that. Oh my god, I'm doing it. Ah! Oh my gosh, okay. If you feel like your self-confidence is attached to your body hair in an unhealthy way, I challenge you to try not shaving for a period of time and like challenge yourself to be okay with people looking, and just see what that does to your self-confidence. for you to have to try and own your body as it actually looks against other people's opinions. Like, that is a great exercise. Actually, when I've had girls question why I don't shave my legs, it's actually led to some of the coolest conversations and just been like really intriguing for us both to dig into our mindsets more. But yeah, I am proud to say that today I am shaving my legs, very aware that it doesn't change how I feel about myself, having the hair and not. Shocking. Whoa.